Common questions that I usually receive is how long should I spend revising the processor groups and knowledge area? This session will have a focus on the recommended study timeline, let's say including 2 to 3 months of structured preparation, also allocating more time to weak areas based on the practice test results, and we'll have also a look on the final exam preparation and tips, focusing on real world application of these concepts using a real case study to reinforce the learning rather than just memorizing all of these concepts. So, as we highlighted before, studying for the PMP exam is not just about reading books, including the book guide or the Agile practice guide. It requires a strategic approach to learning, practicing, and revising these concepts and process groups. So, the process groups and knowledge areas are fundamental to understanding how projects are managed in a structured way. And since these concepts interact dynamically throughout the project lifecycle, we need to revisit and reinforce their understanding multiple times before the exam. A well planned study schedule that includes learning, practice tests, and review sessions, also taking mock exams, ensures a comprehensive preparation. Importance of revising the process groups and knowledge area within exam. So the five process group, including the initiating, planning, executing, monitoring and controlling, and closing structure the follow of project, while the 10 knowledge areas, including the integration, scope, schedule, cost, quality, resources, communication, risk, procurement, and stakeholder categories. These categories specific project management functions. And since your BMP exam tests the interconnections between these elements, regular revision helps candidates to realize these concepts and apply them effectively in real world scenarios. Revising also helps candidates to identify the gaps on understanding and weak areas before the exam. The recommended study timeline schedule for your PMP exam typically is between 3 months. So the time required, varies based on individual experience, study habits, and prior knowledge. Also, it depends on how you structure your day and how much time you allocate to study for the exam. So, an average candidate spends from 2 to 3 months preparing, and that study plan should include, let's say, the first 1 month learning each knowledge area with its processes, the process group, and each of these, key processes involved under each of these knowledge areas and under each of the process group. So the next 2 weeks, you will need to take practice exams. Based on that, you identify the weak areas and viewing these weak areas just to ensure that you that covering these areas prepared for the real. So the final 2 weeks focuses on intensive revision, focusing on difficult topics and the exam strategies. So you should take, several full-length mock exams and analyze the results to refine your study plan, cover these weak areas. But how do you, let's say, allocate time based on each knowledge area or process group? So, not all knowledge areas require the same level of focus. Some areas, such as the integration management and risk management, tend to be more complex and require a deeper understanding. So you should prioritize some of these key knowledge area, such as I mentioned, the integration, the scope, schedule, risk management strategies. And these are the high exam weightages and require in-depth understanding. Next comes the quality, procurement, and stakeholder management, which require a conceptual clarity and application in real-world scenarios. Finally, we have the resource communication and cost management, which requires memorization of the key formulas and practical understanding on how to apply these uh, formulas, to solve a real-world scenarios problem. So you need to adjust your revision strategy based on the mock exam performance, again focusing on the weak area. It's very important to create a PMP study calendar for you. So we mentioned many times that a structured study calendar ensure that all knowledge area and process group are reviewed multiple times before the exam. You should break down the syllables and weekly goals, say covering two knowledge area in a week or within a day. That depends on your study habits, time allocation to study. Also, you need to use revision cycle, and by reviewing previously covered topics every, say, 1 or 2 weeks. Specific Setting a specific target such as completing 3 or 4 mock exams per week, that or per 2 weeks. That depends again on study habits, time allocation. Again, using study aids, including flashcards, mind maps, and formula sheets to reinforce learning. To summarize this, let's say that a well-structured plan prevents a last-minute cramming and improve your uh, learning. Final month or before your exam, which requires an intensive revision. So the final month before the exam should be dedicated to an intensive revision. You might allocate a month or 2 weeks, and should take at least for the real PMP exam at least 3 to 4 full length practice exam per time sessions. Again, I have to highlight the importance of identifying the weak areas from the test results or the mock test results and focus on revision of these, revising the ITTOs, the inputs, tool techniques, and outputs to understand how processes interact each other. Memorizing these key formulas and understanding them, to be honest, is very important rather than just memorizing them, such as the or earn value management and critical path methods. Practice exam style scenario based questions to improve your analytical thinking. So don't expect yourself to see PMP exam that tell you what are the next process. Comes mainly in a scenario based question. So it starts with a project manager might to do 1, 2, 3, 4. What are the next steps that he has to follow? And this phase of reviewing and revision of all of these concepts, knowledge areas, and all of these formulas, this phase or this month helps ensuring your confidence and readiness for the exam day. Real world application of the knowledge area. So the PMP exam does not test your memorization, as we highlighted many times, and it evaluates how you can apply the concepts and real world project management. So to prepare effectively and ensure that you're ready to test your knowledge on real world scenarios, you need to study some of the real project case studies. That would really help you to understand how the project goes on real world scenarios, how these knowledge area are applied in real world. Also, you may use simulation and interactive learning to test the process application. You will also need to focus on how different process groups work together to achieve the project success. By thinking from a project manager perspective, can better answer these situation-based exam questions.